So we're going to take you on a little room tour with some tips and tricks on how we pulled everything together in the boys' room and gave it a little update and made it really unique to them.
First off, let's start with the bed. They had a bunk bed already. It was super sturdy and functional, except our 7-year-old is a beaver and would chew on his bunk, and he's ruining his teeth. So first things first, we took that bed out, we're giving that one away, and we bought a metal bed at IKEA because I don't think he's gonna wanna put his teeth on this.
We're hoping he doesn't chew the metal bed. We're hoping.
This new bunk bed was only $169, and when I went to IKEA, I shook all the beds. This one was the sturdiest, and we decided we could go with that. I actually think it might be sturdier than their other bed because I really love the way they have the bunk system going. I feel like these braces are really gonna make them nice and strong. Plus, this set has a ladder and their other bed didn't.
She went with her mom to IKEA, so I'm trying to picture Jamie like walking around the store just shaking all of the beds and testing to see which one is rickety.
They're lucky that I didn't jump on them and see how they hold up. But you know, boys, testing is important. Next thing we put on the agenda was bedding that they can actually make themselves and that will stay on their bodies. Because their room is like the furthest away from ours and they get cold, they wake up in the middle of the night. I want them to be snug in a bug in a rug and not bothering me.
They're actually right underneath us, so we can hear them. It just takes a minute to get down here.
Yeah, you have to go down the stairs, around the corner, all the way to the end of the hall.
Yeah.
So Beddys was a perfect choice for us. One of the things I really love about Beddys is that you can unzip it, pull out the little comfort blanket edge so it's not super tight. There's minky on the inside, and it's an all-in-one bedding system. When you're ready to wash it, you just pull it off, wash it, and then put it back on. It's as easy as putting on a fitted sheet. And plus bonus, I woke up this morning and without coaching or anything, Jack had zipped up and made his bed. So I think it's going to be a good thing. The next thing we did, aside from the Beddys, is just put the stuffed animals that they already own. They have a ton of Star Wars stuff. We picked up these cute little pillowcases on Amazon. They were really inexpensive, and we just stuffed them with down pillow inserts from IKEA.
The desk came together pretty easily. I was skeptical about how sturdy it would be because the supports don't come very far out. But Jack's already been climbing all over it, and I think it's going to hold together really well. If you're worried about it, you could always add a couple of little legs to this same design out front, and it would be really sturdy that way.
So we're using Real Stain number 2. It actually now comes just in a powder packet, and you mix it in your own quart jar. What I love about the Real Stain is that you can add a little bit of water to it, especially when you get down to the end, because it gets a little dark and pigmented because the pigments tend to settle, and you can stretch it a little bit further because you can make it a little bit lighter than it was before and it will still work fine. And actually this is still looking pretty dark. So I'm going to be using DIY Big Top. It's going to give me a satin finish, and I like using it because it's all natural, no VOCs, and I can use it inside the house. Pro tip: do not dip directly in your container or else you will contaminate it. I plan on using this entire little bit that's left in here to stain this, and also I keep one separately for my stained projects. But if you were to use this, dip in here, stain it, you'll get a little bit of stain in your sealer, and then the next time you go to paint something white, it's going to have a little bit of a brown tint. So to avoid that, just pour it out and dish from another container. I'm thinking some pipes with a base pipe on the bottom would work to hold it up, and we may go ahead and add that in the future, but we needed to be done for today. So this is how the desk was put together.
We got these pipe style supports. They're not going to necessarily come out far enough, so I may have to run some cables up to support the top of the desk, but these will look cool underneath it for now. We'll see what I need to do to sturdy it up later. They're solid metal, they're not hollow like pipe.
They're from the Hobby Lobby. On top of the desk, we wanted to have a little bit of functionality and some division. So they each have their own metal magnet board from IKEA with some magnets so that way they can put their artwork on the wall. In their previous bedroom, they used tape, stickers, anything they could to put their art on the wall. So I'm hoping that this encourages them to not put stickers on the wall or tape.
That's a large reason why this took us so long, because painting the walls and repairing everything took a lot longer than we expected. We were hoping to come in here and paint in like 2 hours and be done, and it was an all-day thing.
Their walls had seen authentic battle damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
To separate the space, I used a desk organizer, also from IKEA, rather inexpensive. It also holds all of their crafting supplies, so that way it's at hand, and some of their Lego minifigures, because those are their favorite to build with, and they always like to have those on hand. They can use this desk for crafts, for building Legos, getting them up off the floor.
Homework.
Also homework. Our little boy is just barely going to be going in kindergarten next year, but Redrick is in 2nd grade, soon to be 3rd grade, and so he does have some homework that needs to be done. And crafting is probably the biggest thing. Jack is a crafter. He draws nonstop. He cuts things up. He loves pipe cleaners, anything to do with creating. So this is going to allow him a space to do that.
So the little toy organizer, we actually have a full video tutorial on how I put that together with dimensions and things if you want to follow along and build one this same size. Originally weren't going to distress it, and we didn't in the original video, and now it has plenty of distress about 1.5 years later, so we win.
They checked all their toys in. We use it to organize all their Nerf guns, their little cars, their action figures. It just keeps everything kind of separated, but it's open storage and doesn't have to be perfect, which is essential. Boys just need a place to throw things and every now and then go through and organize it.
So with the old bunk bed, the Legos were already in organizers underneath the bunk, but the other bed was lower and it was hard to get them out. Stuff got stuffed up under there, and then they couldn't pull them out, and eventually they just stopped putting the Legos back away in there that they had out, and they would just be all over the room or in the toy box with the other toys where they're not necessarily supposed to be, so that they can find them.
We found that these long skinny bins are the easiest way to do Lego storage. They're not super deep, so the boys don't have to dig. We've had lots of different Lego storage things over the year. We've even had like plastic drawers. They got too heavy, they were too deep, they would dump them out. These are perfect. They can just open them up, see their Legos, pull what they need, and build.
So we have a full tutorial on the dresser behind us too, on how we did decoupage with a calendar, which is about the same thickness as a poster. So if you're interested on achieving that look, and you don't necessarily have to do Star Wars, you can decoupage pretty much any kind of thicker material the way we did it, and it's holding up great. It's been down here 2 weeks now, maybe 3, and it's doing really well.
The nice thing about using a poster is it allowed for some extra artwork. We just cut up a few extra pictures, went to IKEA and purchased these RIBBA frames that are really inexpensive. We put the actual calendar pictures in there, making sure not to show the little dot where the nail goes in the top, and they look like really great, expensive Star Wars artwork.
Hey, close your mouth, quality control guy.
Dad, we're filming. Dad.
What?
It's not funny. So we've got these 3 pictures, under $50 for the frames and the artwork. I think we did pretty good.
So on top of the dresser, we have a couple of AT-ST walkers from Star Wars, as well as a TIE fighter that I made. And then they've got several other Star Wars elements in the room, because that's what we've been gifting them for birthdays and Christmas and things like that for the last several years. It's what they asked for.
I feel like this is a really great blend of modern and monochromatic colors with Star Wars design. And I really feel like you can do that with anything that your kids love. Find a way to incorporate what they love with a design aesthetic that's also pleasing to you, that'll grow with them over time. I don't feel like this is too little kid. I feel like this is a bedroom that a 12-year-old would love to have.
Or a 37-year-old.
Or the 16-year-old down the hall that's kind of wishing there was more Star Wars in his room. Or their sister who's 13 who walked in and said, wow, this is really cool. Number 1 tip, well, okay, 2 tips for decorating kids' rooms. 1, make sure it's totally functional and includes the things that they're going to want to play with. If you try to take everything out just to make it look pretty, guess what? They will bring it all back. So make sure there's somewhere for them to put it. 2, make sure you're including what they're into at the time, because they're always going to remember that. They're not going to remember that everything was perfectly styled.
Actually, I don't think this room will stay clean more than a few days. It'll be easier to organize now, but cleanliness-wise, we're going to still have to get in here and help them out. They're 4 and 7.
The more you teach them, the better they get. So to cover up their window, this is a basement room. It doesn't get a ton of light, so I chose some curtains that actually have some see-through in them, so that way some of the light can come through and filter through, but enough that it's not going to wake them up super early. They're really long, 96 inches, and the ceilings are only 7.5 feet in here. So we actually put the curtains all the way up on the ceiling to add some height, and we used a really cool rod from Hobby Lobby. It looks like pipe fitting, and it matches the pipe fitting to their desk.
Used a 40% coupon off on that.
Good boy. If you want to create a similar look at home, you're going to need to go to IKEA, Amazon, and JamiRayVintage.com so you can get the paints and stains to create similar looks in your home. The products that we have used in here today are Real Stain number 2, Big Top, Gunmetal on the little boy's toy chest from a few years ago, and on the dresser behind us, Little Black Dress and Liquid Patina.
If you or someone you know has a child that needs a functional room that's unique to them, we'd love it if you'd share this video with them.
It helps us create more content and create more videos to help inspire you to make your home a place that you love. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
So when the kids say, I can't make my bed,
Then I'm going to start making them do it blindfolded.
we'll say, but Dad did it blindfolded. I would help you, but that would ruin the challenge.
Alright, I think we're done. How's it look? Alright, now I'm going to do it for real. Well, blindfolded didn't work so good. You know, the corners are kind of on. Blindfolded didn't work so well. We'll actually do this for real.